welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name, as always, is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user A Mudbone. That's A Mudbone, and he's driving the Tiger 2 on a standard battle on Windstorm. Tiger 2 being a Tier 8 heavy tank for the Germans, and Windstorm being the newest map that was added in the latest patch, this one being the European city-style winter map. So this is a Tier 9 game, but it's mostly Tier 8 tanks all the way down, as you can see. So this one's going to be a nice close game, even though XVM does say that it favours the enemy team ever so slightly based on people's win records. But as we all know, XVM shouldn't be taken as gospel and isn't always 100% accurate or true. So it looks like Mudbone going to be heading over to this area here and try and get into a side-scraping position with the narrow little streets here, indestructible buildings and large open spaces to fire at one another and face off. This map offers some great opportunities for heavies to do some side-scraping. As you can see, somebody already having a shot. Spots out a KV-4 here, going to have a return shot at him. Not quite able to do any damage to him. And then again, the KV-4 himself isn't able to do any damage back. As you can see, normally when they're in a very good side-scraping position, even if the enemy team can see a little bit of the front of the armour, all they're able to do is just hit that drive wheel at the front and take the track off. As you can see, that's happened a couple of times now. And that just keeps them pinned down in position. As you can see, people only able to do damage and remove his tracks, not able to get any hit point damage on him. Although Mudbone not able to get any damage back until he hits that KV-4 there. T-32A did decide to move forward, but not as far forward as this T-34. No idea why he's pushed so far so quickly into the Allied territory here. Mudbone going across a deal with it, but just wanting to check down the right hand side to see if anybody's going to have a shot at him. But it looks like the advancing IS-3 is going to draw people's attention. Anybody who did want to fire at it will probably have to go through the IS-3 first. T-34 still pushing in, Mudbone getting good consistent damage onto him, and he gets taken out in the end by that IS-3. So I'm not really sure why that T-34 pushed so far so fast and was just left isolated from his own team there, and the Allied team just closed in around him and took him out from front and rear. But now, as you can see, the Allied team has used the opportunity to push forward over the river and take the fight to the enemy side of the map. They've got them penned in here. They've only got this T-34 in the background by the looks of it to stop a full-blown flanking manoeuvre from happening. Mudbone going to push forward past this IS-3. A little bit unfortunate to only get damage on the Panther 2's tracks. Going to try and ram him here. Take his tracks out again, and hopefully this IS-3 can come and offer some support. Looks like the IS-3 wasn't able to get around the corner in time, but it doesn't matter. Mudbone's able to get good damage through the weak spot at the front of the Panther 2, and I don't think this Panther 2 realises where he was going as he gets pushed right off the river, or right off the bank and into the river there, not really aware of his surroundings, and Mudbone picks up a huge chunk of damage, about 675 there for the fall, and then picks up the kill as he was the last one to hurt him as he fell into the river there. So excellent piece of situational awareness from Mudbone there, realising that the Panther 2 didn't really know whereabouts he was, and he gets taken out and pushed into the river. And then he's able to duel this T-34 down, not before taking a little bit of damage himself. So he's going to have to play a little bit more cautiously with 700 of his hit points missing. Although he was able to take out the T-34 in the end. Now he's trying to hold this left-hand side of the flanking manoeuvre while his allies push forward that E-50. And I think there's a Super Pershing just behind it. Yes, indeed there is. So now they've executed a textbook flanking manoeuvre here, the IS-6 and that other Tiger 2 holding the front of the enemy team, and these allies here, the two mediums and Mudbone himself, flanking around the sides. Just keeping an eye on that FCM as he doesn't want to take damage from him. In the end, he did have to take some damage from him in order to land a shot on that KV-4. We're just going to keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't get another free shot just like he did there. As he pops forward, he's able to get a good hit on him, and the IS-6 is able to take him out in the end. And now the Vultures descend on the carcasses of their foes. And there's just this Tiger 2 left. Going to see who can pick up the kill on this one. Could it be Mudbone? Yes, indeed it is. And he picks up a well-deserved kill, number 3, for that early positional play. And the team just operating an excellent flanking and net manoeuvre there, just holding the attention of the enemy from the front while the other tanks flanked around from the side and just closed that net in, and were able to take them out pretty damn quickly. So that just leaves the artillery, a Super Pershing, and that Jagdtiger 88 left on the enemy team now. Looks like the 88 and this Super Pershing are on this left-hand side of the map, and Mudbone going to be transitioning across to try and see if he can get some damage on them. This Super Pershing still on full hit points, and with the troll armor of this thing at tier 8, he could indeed do some work if he plays his cards right. Not quite able to get a shot through that small stone wall onto him. It looks like just hitting the dirt instead. Not able to pick out specific parts of the tank. You can't quite see them there because of that wall. Going to be heading up the hill now and trying to close him down a little bit. Although Mudbone just playing this one slow and carefully and waiting for the rest of his team to turn up. As it is, he exposed his side armor to Mudbone there, but he wasn't able to get any damage on him as that shot just falls a little bit short. Has presented front armor now, but he had to turn his turret to the side to square off against that E50, and Mudbone was able to get some damage through the side of the turret. Now he's got his weak spot, so he should be able to just put consistent damage onto this Super Pershing, and indeed he is, and he's able to pick up kill number 4. Now they've just got to try and find this Jagdtiger 88, who was last spotted just in front. There he is there, trying in vain to come to the aid of the Super Pershing there, but not quite having the speed to be able to get there in time. A valiant effort, but unfortunately for naught, as the Jagdtiger wasn't able to crest to the top of the hill in time. If the Super Pershing had fallen back, then maybe the Jagdtiger would have been able to help, but as it is, that is GG and the victory. So absolutely brilliant replay there from A. Mudbone, picking himself up almost 4,000 points of damage and 4 kills. So thank you very much for sending that replay in, and don't forget, as always, the score screens and another game are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Kill Engage. That's Kill Engage, and he's driving the T-62A on his standard battle on the mountain pass. T-62A being a tier 10 medium tank for the Russians. This thing is a bit of a beast. It's got decent armor, a decent gun, it's a good all-rounder, good speed, mobility and agility. And almost every time I've seen one of these in battle, they've always done some work. So pretty damn good all-round tank. Doing what he should be doing as well, heading over to this left-hand flank. The two allied Batchats going to be taking up a sniping position up on the high ground there. Kill Engage just having a little bit of a look across the valley there, almost crashing into a rock, but not quite, so that's good. Oh, and it looks like the allied Batchats have been outflanked here by the enemy Batchats. Unfortunately for the enemy Batchats, the allies do have support. Taking a shot in the rear from an ally there. It looks like it was actually by his platoon mate, so it looks like the enemy team is executing a medium tank bum rush here, so the allies got to be careful. I was saying that the enemy Batchats didn't have any support, but it looks like the Object 140 and the E50M and that T-62A turn up pretty damn quickly to offer some support, and an Object 263 using his superior speed in order to get up on that hill. Unfortunately for him, he's probably going to be in trouble if he doesn't leave pretty sharpish. So the enemy team doing a very, very good job of getting into this advanced position quickly enough. As you saw, the enemy Batchats led the spearhead and then created the distraction while the rest of the medium tanks turned up. This T-57 Heavy is in a little bit of trouble. In fact, the whole team's in a little bit of trouble here as these medium tanks are just holding this position. The rest of the team still faring a little bit better, although they are all kind of just arrayed behind Kill Engage here, who's not wanting to push out too far as he doesn't want to get hammered down by the rest of those medium tanks that are all just kind of sat there. At the end of the day, though, this stalemate kind of favours the enemy team as most of the allies are here, and the enemy has that northern flank totally exposed. So the longer they can hold the allies here in inactivity, the better it is for the enemy team. Looks like the T-62A fired, so we're going to poke out and get a good shot on him. Just one more hit should be enough to take him out. And there we go, that is kill number 1. That leaves this object and the E-50M here. Excellent little shot there on the object 140. So just at a very, very sharp angle with the front armor there, trying to lure the enemy tanks into having a terrible shot at the front of his armor. Got to win this one a little bit quicker though. As you can see, an object 268 has a pin in the center there from the northern flank, so you just know that the enemy team is going to be pushing from that flank. And Kill Engage decided to do the smart thing of just leaving and deciding to flank around the sides of them. So we're going to be heading all the way around the north of this little outcropping. There's already a T-69 here, so I'm not too sure why he hasn't already been doing some work. He is on low hit points and he may be reloading that cannon, so Kill Engage is just going to come and relieve him of his position, and in fact going to take an even further advanced position using the speed of his tank to his advantage. Oh, takes a hit there from the E-50M, gets his track taken off, but as it is, he's left in a fantastic shot to fantastic position to return fire. Seeing this, the IS-7 and the E-75 push forward, and the two medium tanks are forced to bail out down into the ravine there, which they also hold. So the score is pretty even at 8 kills to 8, but I would say the enemy team definitely has the better of this one, considering they have control over more of the map than the Allied team has here. Object 140 climbing the hill. He's still on a good amount of hit points here. Kill Engage able to get a good hit on him. Takes out his track and sets him on fire, but it looks like he's packing an automatic fire extinguisher, which for a tier 10 isn't an unheard of thing, and it's not something I'll give somebody grief over. If you're packing maybe a tier 3 with an automatic fire extinguisher, then you're doing something wrong. Kill Engage making a move and just taking a shot in the rear from that Object 140 for his trouble. Just thinking about flanking around and going over that bridge now, but with the position of the enemy medium tanks, he's going to have to sit here for the time being at least. Has got eyes on these two mediums, so hopefully the artillery should be coming in any moment now. Does have to be careful though, as the enemy team also has 2 artillery pieces. But then this IS-7 executes an excellent rear guard action, and it comes around behind those 2 medium tanks, who then decide to turn around and switch their attention onto that IS-7, who's able to take out the Object 140, and Kill Engage should be able to get this E-50. Indeed he is. I was going to say he has to be careful because there is a Death Star down the ravine a little bit, but it looks like that E-75 doing good work there and taking him out. As it is though, the enemy artillery already taken out the IS-7. And the score is a little bit more in the favour of the Allies here at 11 kills to 9. An enemy Waffenträger E-100 pushing in on the base. He is obviously going to be fully loaded, so going to have to play this one carefully, as he's definitely going to have the firepower to be able to take Kill Engage from 100 to 0 in one clip. As you see, Kill Engage switching to HE rounds. Going to try and put some high explosive rounds through the thin turret armor of the Waffenträger and get maximum damage on him. As you see there, gets 444 points of damage, which is an excellent amount of damage from this thing. In fact, what is the average roll of that? It looks like it's 420, so that was a decent roll. Gets another good one for another 450. This T-92 just cowering in the background here. He's going to have to be careful, because if he gets spotted, it's curtains for him. And as it is, Kill Engage is able to take out the Waffenträger, but he does get his tracks removed by the Object 261. Looks like the E-100, the GW E-100, also reins in the fire for good measure, but not quite able to take him out in the end. Now it's time to switch the attention to go artillery hunting and take out this T-110E4, who was last spotted up on the ridge doing a little bit of defensive maneuvers here. Just going to speed this one up a little bit until we get back into the action. Kill Engage going to be taking the long route around, does find the GWE 100, gets a solid hit onto him. E100 fires. Not sure if he was firing at Kill Engage here, because that one just went way, way wide. Going to see if he can finally land the last shot. Not quite. That one just skimming over the top of his roof as he backs off into safety. Deciding not to climb up the top of the hill this time, as he's going to flank all the way around, because that E100 is going to be waiting for him with gun trained on target. Still got to be careful of this T-110E4 that was last spotted up on that hill, though. If he's still in position, it's going to be a dangerous little maneuver here. Looks like both the artillery standing back to back and helping each other out, is able to find the E100 here, takes him out, and that leaves the object 261. Ah, there we go. I was just going to say, I have no idea where this T-110E4 is. He was last spotted up on the hill, but he's somehow gotten himself to the Allied base. Not quite sure how he's done that. That's going to leave the Conqueror gun carrier with the unenviable task of heading to the Allied cap circle in order to try and do something about that. Kill Engage deciding to go into the cap circle himself, because if this T-92 and E-75 both come into the cap, they can definitely out-cap the T-110E4 and pick up the victory on this one. T-92 having his shot on base and then looking like he's moving in towards the cap circle. E-75 joins Kill Engage in the cap, and an excellent reset there from the Conqueror gun carrier, being able to reset on that T-110E4, and then that is pretty much all she wrote, as he's not going to be able to outcamp the 3 people that are now in the cap circle. Kill Engage gets a little bit greedy there, pokes out for the object 261, but now that the E-75 and T-92 have turned up in the cap circle, they're still going to have enough capping power to be able to outcap this T-110E4. So Kill Engage decides to move out of the cap circle to go and try and take out the artillery, as he doesn't want the artillery player to survive. Looks like the object 261 is where he was left. Flanks around to the side of him, takes him out, and then it's just going to be a case of allowing this base capture to wind down, and that's going to be the victory from base capture. So absolutely awesome game there from Kill Engage, picking himself up 5,500 points of damage, 5 kills, and really being instrumental in helping his team win that with some excellent positional play and some excellent flanking maneuvers. So thank you very much for sending that replay in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a good replay, then please send that to replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. If you enjoyed this video, found it entertaining, useful, and informative, leave me a like, favourite, and put a comment in the comment section below. Let me know exactly what you thought. And if you're not already, then definitely consider hitting that subscribe button for a lot more content like this in the future. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.